Oh.
I hope the weather gets better. How are we supposed to do all this stuff?
Yeah, I know. The weather. Look at the view. She's got a hot tub, and we can't because we're guests. I'm like, I don't want it on it. Hello, everyone. Okay, it's kind of cold, but I wanted to get y'all a view of Maui. We're in an Airbnb in the mountains, and it looks a little like doomsday, but look at that. So yeah, Maui was like, there was only like 20% left of Maui, and it's a cool Airbnb. So anyways, alright, so I wanted to just like start to explain this because my methodology, I got really excited because I actually am like in a space, if you do coaching or if you're like, I don't know, like I can't explain what I do to people, or I can't tell people what it is that I do, and I can't, you know, explain what I do because it's too in-depth, and it's too this, and it's too this, and it's too this, and that's basically the way that I've been saying it. So, and I couldn't put it in like a step-by-step process, so it's all of my stuff's always been very intuitive and shit like that. So I wanted to just explain what I found because I finally had a moment to like chill so that I can have this paper in front of me, and it's basically like, look at this shit. It's like this. So it's like 3 tiers, right? Okay. And this is how it goes. Okay. So it all stems from, what do you want? Okay. It all stems from, what the fuck do you want? Okay. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It's really fucking exciting to talk about this because, hey, whoever hopped on, it's really fucking excited to talk about this actually. Okay. And so from there, there's like these 3 tiers, and if one doesn't work, then the other 2 don't work. And if you have 2 that work, it still doesn't manifest, so it's like, what's the fucking point? So you have to have all 3 tiers of this going on in order for things to work, in order for things to click, okay? So the first tier is basically like all your belief systems. So one of the things that I pride myself on is the fact that it's a different type of manifesting when you come to work with me, because we're working on you finding the fucking answer, finding the way to manifest long-term success and what you want on an ongoing basis. So you're able to do it on an ongoing basis by yourself. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to teach people how to do that for some reason, but that's what I do. Okay, so the first part is your belief systems. Now, a lot of people will say, and I've done this too, like with manifesting, you're like, I don't really need another course on manifesting. I don't need another person to explain how to tell me what I want. I don't need the, thank you, Jean. I don't need someone to like tell me my hair is a little, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't figure out how to turn on the hot water, so I haven't turned on the hot water. So it's been a little like my hair is, but Savina figured out how to turn on the hot water, and it's her birthday today. So she got in last night. So anyways, okay, so the first tier, and how this is different from, is 3 tiers. And think of it as like a table. I don't know if anybody's been listening to me for the kind of time where they've heard me say this. Your belief is like a fucking table. So imagine that here's your hand and here's all the legs. So you have at least, with me, you have at least 3 tiers. And if you don't have those 3 tiers, you're fucked, okay? You can't manifest what you want, okay? So, and again, like back to the whole thing, it was like, how do you know yours is different from somebody else? Or how do you know this manifesting work is different from somebody else's? Well, I'm about to explain to you, but the first column is beliefs, okay? Hey, hey, Arena. If I don't want to say your name because I don't want to say it incorrectly. That's one of the reasons I'm like, hey, Arena. I think it's Arena. Forgive me if I mispronounced it. Look at the background. Okay, so it is a little chilly up here, so I'm like, ooh. Okay, so beliefs is the first category. What is their makeup is the first question that I ask. I want to know, like, if, in terms of Jean and Irina, like, what's your makeup in terms of, like, how did you grow up? Hey, Melissa, how did you grow up? What are you thinking? What do you like? How do you think on an ongoing basis? What are your patterns? What are your, what experiences shaped who you are, okay? What's your story? What type of archetypes do you play in your life? Now, when I say archetypes, are you playing the fucking victim all the time? Are you playing the one who's super successful? Are you playing the one who is the stay-at-home mom who can't figure out how to start her business? Are you the one who's the goody-goody who can't seem to, like, nobody believes that she can actually do stuff? How do you interact with the world around you? And this is part of this, the most indicated for me, because it's like, most likely this is shit you do not know and you can't really tell what you're doing. So understanding a lot, so there's some stuff that I ask that you already know. There's some stuff that you don't know that I ask, which you won't even realize what I'm doing when I'm doing it, especially if you're doing one-on-one work with me at any level. And in my boot camps, you always do one-on-one work with me if I'm doing them live, obviously. How do you show up with others in business? If this is about business, okay? I just wrote down pretty much about business. So how do you show up with others in business? So all of this kind of feeds off of your story, your makeup, and how you, like, what your archetype is and how you show up in business. What relationships created their beliefs? So what kind of, like, situations, how do you interact with clients? How do you interact with mentors? How do you interact with coworkers? How do you interact with prospects? How do you interact with being online? How do you interact with being offline? How do you interact with different types of opportunities? How do you, looks like I have a, I don't know what the hell that is. It looks like whiteness. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. How do you interact? Because this is indicative of how do your beliefs affect you? Do you have these beliefs? Like, do you have one of those stories, makeups that you rebelled from? Like your mother was abusive and so you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do anything that I want? Or did you cower and do what a lot of normal people do when they've been abused? Or did you have a really poor background and so you're determined to be successful and you're like, you are successful but you can't seem to get your business off the ground? That type of thing. Your parents, what are the stories with your parents? What are your stories with your parents? What are your parents' stories? So I can start to understand certain things that you may not be seeing already, but it's literally how I start to predict your future and how I can see how you're going to be manifesting your business and how you're not. Past situations, how did you handle those past situations? It kind of falls into the makeup part, but it's not actually, because most likely you're not going to tell me those exact past situations. It's kind of like, let's say that I was talking to Nicole, right? And I was asking her all about her makeup. So, like, you know, how was she raised? Was she with friends? How was she with people in high school? How was she with people in middle school? And then I get to the point where she's like, I'm looking at her, which feeds into the other two categories. How do I feed into, well, what do you actually like, you know, how's your business going, and et cetera, and start diving into what's going on. And that's in the other category. And she says, like, oh, well, I had an ex-boyfriend who was actually abusive, but I didn't have abusive parents. So if I don't know, but that abusive boyfriend was like 3 or 4 years ago and she's like in her mid-30s or her late 40s. So how did that past situation affect her now? It's a completely different story than how did her childhood affect her. Or she had a recent client who fucked her over. So it's not actually applying to the past situations. It's it's not applying to your childhood. It's applying to right now. And that feeds from some other stuff that most likely you hadn't told me either. And the thing about it is that a lot of times you won't tell a coach, or you won't tell me, or you won't tell yourself. You won't tell yourself things that are so fucking obvious, even if you're the best at mindset ever, that is affecting you and is creating the situation that you're in right now. So you won't be telling you won't be telling something until you're ready to have the awareness, and you won't be really having that awareness until you're like on the verge of shifting. But it's a completely different thing. You can have the awareness all fucking day long. That doesn't mean that you're going to shift. Sometimes the awareness makes you shift, but sometimes you can sit in the awareness for years and years and years and years and years and never shift. What is your new identity? And this is where it starts to get in. Okay, so here's all your past situations. And then I start asking questions about, what's your new identity? Do you have any clues about what your new identity is after you've shifted? I was on the way to the airport in Kauai, and I had the most amazing spiritual conversation with a cab driver. And I was like, I don't know why I'm able to just like totally relax when I'm on islands. Like it's just like I just relax in such a way that is different from any other place I go to. And He said it's because you get to fully unload. You get to fully unload, and we started talking about creating a new reality and letting go of pain and letting go of suffering and stuff like that. And he said, oh God, what did he say? I don't know why. Oh, he said, this was powerful. He was like, when you're ready to, when people are ready to let go of pain, they have to know where they're going in order to fully let go of it. Otherwise, they're going to hold on to what they have. And I can't tell you how many fucking times people have been like, I don't know how to release it. I don't know how to release it. I don't know how to release it. And I'm like, okay, well, what would happen if you fucking released it? What's the other reality? And the truth of the matter is, most of you mean it with massive love, and I do this too. Well, actually, I've kind of learned to like not do that because it's kept me stuck for so many years. Is that you overestimate. You make it so big that it makes it virtually impossible for you to get there. So it's kind of like you overestimate this next level that you are in, and so you never do shift because it's like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and I can't make that kind of jump right this second, so it's there. What is your mindset about God, universe, whatever the hell you want to call it? Because this is giving me like an indicator of this whole section is what are your beliefs? What it makes up your beliefs? How do you engage with the world? Because all of that tells me how your beliefs are, how they've been in play, how strong they are, how they actually engage with the world. Because here's the thing, you cannot shift into a new reality, into a new dimension, if all your beliefs are a certain way, but you act from a different place. So it's kind of like you can have the beliefs that God is good, but you're stuck in your bullshit and you're not actually moving forward. And so you can't actually, like, the truth of the matter is that you're lying to yourself, or you actually believe that you're fucked up, or you actually believe that God doesn't want you to have the things that you want. So going through this, I just spit in my mouth. Going through this section is so powerful and so, it's so deep and it's so fucking sexy and cool, because I've always been like, well, you know, this isn't that different from any other mindset, you know, teaching. And I'm like, this is so fucking different from every other mindset teaching. And I was like, I knew that it was different, but I was like, how do I indicate that it is different? Because the difference is that it goes from seeker to finder. But the truth of the matter is, this is completely different than any fucking type of mindset work. And we all knew that I was confident in my skills, and we all knew I was confident in the way that I taught people, and we all knew I was confident about my ability to help people get results. But this shit is on a whole other fucking level. Because ladies, if you think that this is the same type of fucking mindset work that all your other bullshit, like, things that you've gone through, you are sadly fucking mistaken. Mean it with massive love, but this shit is on a whole other fucking level. And given that I have it in this fucking methodology, I'm like, holy fuck, I am a goddamn genius. I'm not fucking kidding. Like, I'm sorry, not fucking kidding around. And so, okay, so you have like all your belief systems, right? So, and I'm not even talking about like, okay, let's shift things. And the reality is, you don't have to with this system. You don't have to with this methodology. It fucking works, because look at this shit. The next section is, so once I know all your belief systems and all the things that you do and how you engage with the world and why your world is wired the way that it is, because this belief creates this belief and this belief creates this belief. And then I go into, well, what are your behaviors? So you have these beliefs. So think about it like, you know, like I'm looking at how you've created your movie, how you've created your life. What have you actually done? And I'm kind of thinking it from a perspective of like, okay, she's got these beliefs and her life looks like this, and she's created these past situations. Now I want to know what her behaviors are to keep it going. Now I want to know, has she, like, what does she do in these situations? How does she respond when someone fucks her over? How does she respond when somebody tries to offer her something? How does she respond when things don't go right in her business? How does she respond when she realized that her boss was abusive? How does she respond when she found out her mother was a narcissist? How does she respond to these things? Because there's those two variables in the way that you respond it's really interesting, because you can have beliefs, but you have your behaviors. So if your beliefs don't match up to your behaviors, that's indicative that you have the ability to shift in a way that you don't really fully understand yet, that a lot of people will not see yet. So there's all these little types of situations that you can see how you can actually shift but it's very underneath the surface. So it's very subtle, and you can see certain things where I can be like, hey, check this shit out. If you go this way and you go this way and you go this way, you're going to get a fucking high 6-figure business in fucking no time. But if you go this way and you start to do this shit, you're going to be stuck. And that's one of the reasons why I called myself a mindset strategist for a very long time. Mindset coach just seemed easier to say. But that's why I do what I do. And usually, like, you might sign up to work with me thinking that I'm a coach, and I do coach, but it's more of like, this is the kind of strategy that you want to use in order to get what you want. See this little sneaky fucker over here? Sidestep that motherfucker, or take him out, or actually like just lean back, because he's gonna charge through, and you're just it's gonna be hilarious, because you're literally just gonna go right into the end zone. If any of that makes sense. Okay, so the second column is, what are your behaviors? Okay, what are your behaviors? How do you engage with the world? Okay, we're good. Okay. What are your behaviors? I'm going to come in here because it was like, what are your behaviors? Okay. I'll just keep the door open. I don't know what the hell happened, but our internet, there's a storm coming through. Okay, you like my hair? Okay, so what are your behaviors? What are they, and where do you want to go? Okay, so what do you want and where do you want to go? This is very indicative of like, with all your belief systems and all your behaviors, where do you want to go? And so like, what kind of archetype are you playing? What you want and what you're subconsciously saying as to where you want to go are two very different situations. So it's kind of like, okay, so when I ask, where do you want to go? And I'm not even actually asking you. I'm never going to ask you this flat out, because you're going to respond something different. There's some part of you that either wants to stay stuck, wants to go a little bit, wants to seek, wants to not find, whatever the hell it is. So I literally can go, oh, okay, this is what you actually truly want to do underneath the surface, and you're not actually aware of it. So here's what you need to do instead. And this is how you, like, you know, your subconscious will try to keep you stuck over and over and over again, because that's how you're wired. Okay. And 95% of what you attract is your subconscious. I hope that makes sense. Now, how far are you away from where you want to be? So notice what I'm doing here. I'm trying to figure out where you subconsciously want to go, and that could be very easily that you want to stay stuck. And how far are you away from where you actually want to go? So it's kind of like, okay, so here I am, like, I'm as your coach or your strategist, and I see, oh, okay, she actually wants to go to a 5K month versus a 50K month, or she actually wants to just improve like by 5K, like another 5K in her bottom line, but she wants to go to 50K a month. So she's actually saying that she's doing X, Y, and Z in her marketing, but really she needs to approach ideal clients that are at a much higher level, and she's scared to do that. So we need to work on this instead. Okay. And so how far are you away from where you want to go? I start asking questions to find out how far are you subconsciously like away from where you want to go. So I can ask you certain things to go, oh, okay, she's deep into resisting, allowing herself to believe that she can attract ideal clients at a much higher level. So we need to work on, that's the primary thing that we need to work on. That's the primary thing that we need to pull out, which feeds into to the other pillar, the other table thing. Okay. How far are they actually away from where, how far are they actually away from where they want to be? Okay. So in other words, and by the way, I've coined and copyrighted this bitch. So if anybody tries to steal this from me, you're not going to be able to do it the same way. How far are you actually from this? So this also feeds into like the third section, but it's interesting because you may think a certain way, and that feeds into part one. You may act a certain way, and you may actually want something, and then subconsciously you want a completely different thing. And then you're actually like, we need to find out where you actually believe on a deep level and on a surface level how easy it is for you to get there. So we're trying to figure out what are your behaviors, and how does your subconscious lead you, and how does your subconscious act towards your beliefs and all this other stuff, if this makes sense. So in other words, this is why people are like, I don't need a mindset coach, and I don't need to do this. And I'm like, you're fucking, like, shut up. Mean it with massive love, but you're like, how the fuck can you actually figure this? I can't figure this shit out on my own. There's no fucking way in hell. I can, though, no, I can't fucking figure this shit out on my own. Because you're literally wired, like I didn't get this for so many fucking years. You are literally wired to not be able to get it on your own. You're wired not to be able to get it on your own. I caught myself in the last week, literally like, and one of my clients had it happen to her too. You're like, I'm looking for the big moment where you're like, oh my God, that's it. And the reality is sometimes if you actually have a coach who's putting you there faster, who's showing you what you're like not getting, it won't click right away because you're so deep in your own shit. So it's like, you have to actually like allow yourself to fully believe. And there's been quite a few of you who are like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. And if you work with me long enough, you're like, oh my God, that's so fucking it. It's ridiculous. That's happened so many fucking times. I can't even tell you. Okay, what do they want mentally? Like, that's kind of the same thing. What do they want mentally, as in when they're like, oh yeah, this is different. So you're like, where are they, right? So where are you in terms of where you want to be? How do you engage with that? How are you engaging with the world? How far are you away from where you want to be, consciously and subconsciously? And what do you actually need to do? What's your subconscious really saying? How is it speaking to this? And it's basically like I speak to your subconscious in a way, because I'm like, okay, like how quickly can she get there? How quickly will you allow her to get there? And if we can't work with that, what do we need to do to get you to work with us so that we can actually get her to a place where she can have the success that she wants? And the kind of questions that I ask, I can't really actually, I'm not going to tell you this right now because that's a whole other fucking topic. And what do they want mentally? What is this subconscious person who's like, no, we're going this way, or no, she can't go this way because it's this, this, and this. What does that voice really want? What does that voice want for her? And why do they want that for her? So if they're saying, no, we got to keep her safe. No, she can't do this because she thinks she's going to lose her husband, or she thinks she's going to not be able to succeed, or she thinks that she's going to have to give up her security and everything else, et cetera, et cetera. No, she thinks she's going to get raped if she becomes successful. So what is this voice need to hear in order to speak to this version of her to get her to feel safe to execute and to shift, if that makes any sense? Because if this person who's saying no isn't shifted, you can't shift, period, the end. How far do you think you need to go? Okay, this is really indicative. So this is your conscious mind. So I'm speaking to your conscious mind to find out, well, actually, I just found out, this is me, I just found out that your subconscious is ready to like, can do these massive shifts and knows that you can do these massive shifts, but you're like not going there because there's some part of you that just doesn't, it's not computing, because you're like, I don't know how the fuck I would do that. So when you say shit like that, that's not your subconscious, that's your conscious mind. So your subconscious may be like, and this is why, like, if you're not working with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, like say if you're not working with me on a level, you could be literally keeping yourself from going to a 7-figure business in fucking no time, and you just don't realize it because you're like, I don't know how that would happen. Literally. Just found out another client went from like 0 to 20K months within like 4 months of working with me, and then they a year later they're at 35K a month. How far do you think they need to go? How delusional are they? Savina was reading over this and she was like, how do you explain that to someone? Like, you don't ask them how delusional are they? And I'm like, no. Okay, here's the thing. This is like one of the biggest fucking blocks that people will have. It's utterly like ridiculous. Oh, hey, what time am I? How's my call time situation? Make sure I don't.
You're fine.
Okay. How delusional. And by the way, guys, it's Savina's birthday. Say happy birthday to Savina. But in terms of like, how delusional are you? And what I mean by that is consciously and subconsciously. So you're like, how deep is your subconscious? Like, no fucking way in hell. She's got a lot of fucking work to do. Or are you like, and you're like, yeah, I want to go to like 100K months. Yeah, I want to go to 50K months. Yeah, I want to go to $250,000 months. And you're like, but your subconscious is like, no fucking way. Or are you like, I don't know how to do this. I really don't know how to do this. I like have no idea how I'm going to do this. I just can't imagine it. And your subconscious is like, this bitch can do anything she fucking wants. She knows it. She's just not telling you that she knows it. But, you know, if she actually got in tune with her subconscious, she'd be like fucking killing it. So, and that's a lot of you guys, to be quite honest with you. And the delusional thing is that like, and it's also denial. So it's kind of like, if I tell you something, this is really, really important. If I tell you something, and I'll do this kind of shit when I'm on the phone with you, and this is really interesting because a lot of you, like, when you get on calls with me, you're like, you don't know what I'm fucking asking you, but I'm asking you things that are totally, I'll ask you questions that are, the reasoning behind it and what I'm really asking is totally different than what you think it is. And part of the reason why I do that is to keep you in a place where you can't actually know what I'm doing, so I can pull shit out of you to show you what's really going on. And in terms of delusional, like, how do you respond to things that I say? So if I start to say, yeah, actually, this is what's going on, and your response is, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, I mean, like, I respect and admire you, but you know, and I'm trying to see it, but I just don't see it. And depending on how deep that is, it's indicative of how delusional you are in terms of why you're stuck. And I'm not saying that you're delusional if you don't listen to me. I'm saying that it's indicative of how deep your shit is. Because if you've got blocks on top of blocks on top of blocks, it's a different type of thing. And I've got to go about working with you in a completely different way than I would go about working with someone who actually is like, oh my God, you're so fucking right. I have to work through that before I can help you work through that. And I also have to approach it from a completely different perspective. I have to approach it from a place of like, okay, they think they know better, which is fine and totally understandable. But I've got to come from it from a different angle, because if I don't, they're not going to hear me on any level, really. And they're going to just like kind of nod and think I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and they're going to stay stuck. How ready are you to change? This is huge. If I don't know this, then it's kind of like, you know, this is where that's one of the number one qualities that I use in terms of like attracting super high level clients, is how ready are you to change? And this is indicative of like, this is actual deep mindset work. So it's kind of like, this is why, you know, how ready are they to change? How ready is your subconscious ready to change? This is completely different than you being like, yeah, I'm ready to change. Yeah, I'm ready to change. Yeah, I'm ready to change. That's why when anybody comes to talk to me about actually changing their mindset, I look for, and they're like, you know, they're going to take out a loan, or they're going to go into debt, or they're going to do whatever. I look at, are they really ready to change subconsciously? And if they are, I'm going to be like, do it. Fucking do it. But I've had people who are like, I'm ready to change, but oh my God, I'm scared. And I'm like, no, you're not ready to change. Don't do it. Do you want that new identity? Do you want that new identity? And what are you doing to actually get that new identity? Because if you're not doing it, you're going to stay stuck, and it's something that I'm going to have to work on with you too. So looking at all these different things, depending on what it is, you've got a lot of shit to work on, or you don't have that much to work on. And depending on which things I see, there are certain things that it's kind of like, think of a table. And if you've got shit up here that's really, really strong, or if you got shit down here that's really, really strong, I can't just take it out from the top to where there's nothing. Or if something's really, really strong here and I try to take this out, it's not going to budge. So you got to look at the strategy behind actually moving you out of shit. And I teach all this in the boot camps. I teach all this, and this is why it's really, really powerful to work with me one-on-one. And that's one of the reasons why I include it in the virtual boot camp, because literally you can't not work with me one-on-one, because it's a completely different type of thing when you're working with me one-on-one versus having one of my programs or getting my content. That's another thing that I actually asked myself the other day. What am I most proud of about my business? And this is one of the biggest things. Because this shit works. And anybody who tries to do this like me, you're not going to. So just FYI. How deep are these things holding you back? Same kind of thing. What really is holding you back? This goes to what's really holding you back and what's really holding you back. So you might think that you know what's holding you back, and even like your subconscious is like, this is what's holding you back. But then it's a whole other fucking dynamic when I find out this one's really fucking cool, but it's like your subconscious is trying to say, no, this is what's holding her back. No, this is what's holding her back. And it's like, actually, there's a whole other fucking spirit involved that's trying to be like, we're not going to reveal this to her. We're not going to reveal it to you. We're not going to reveal it. But this is like, this whole thing is what's really doing it. And you take me out, you're taking everything out. So you got to approach it from a different perspective too. Because if you take out a whole big thing, then it's like a whole other fucking ball game. And this chick who you're talking to, who you're working with, has to be fully in her new identity in order for it to work. And if she's not wanting to stand in her new identity, then it's not going to fucking work. So it's kind of like all this shit feeds into all this other shit, and we're just in section 2 of this. We got a whole other section. How tuned in are they to this new identity? I said that. How resistant are they to seeing that, being that, and why? Okay, I had this conversation with a chick yesterday. I told her, I was like, I could see you being the next Oprah. Like, I seriously could see her being the next Oprah. And she said, the response to that, the response to me saying you could be a billionaire, and I actually see it, the response of that is very indicative of how strong you are in your ability to change. And them asking, like, well, what do you think of this? Depending on the way that they ask, because I can hear it underneath their voice, is very indicative of that. So I don't go for the kill in there, because your identity is such a big thing that it's like, it might not work, okay? And why that is, I'll explain. It's just because if your identity is fucked up, and your identity is, and I don't want to say it's fucked up, but your identity of changing, but it feeds into the next level, it's kind of like, what's the fucking point? Because it's not actually going to work. It's kind of like saying, trying to change, I don't feel worthy. Okay, well, if I try to help you like completely believe that you're worthy, it's kind of like, you know, changing everything about you in 6 weeks or everything about you in a day. And it just, your system will go into overdrive to make sure that you don't do that. And it will start manifesting all this fucked up shit so that you flip the fuck out and you basically stop doing what you're doing. How much faster do you want to go? What do you believe? Okay. How much faster do you really want to go? How much faster does your subconscious want you to go? Because your subconscious could be like, hey, this could be like, and this is, I'm just speaking from the way that I'm like working with this person. I could hear this chick is like, she's a star client. She's ready to fucking work. She's ready to fucking go. She has that ability to shit. She has that ability to change. But actually, in this situation, she really needs help feeling safe. She really needs you to just be super supportive and super encouraging, or she needs you to get on her ass and fucking like push her a bit. It depends. Like, your subconscious will tell me how to work with you in order to help you get the most success the fastest. How do I know this? It's just like, it's because I've been doing this shit, and somehow this fucking technology, methodology, whatever the hell you want to call it, was downloaded in my psyche, and I didn't even know how to explain it, but this is all the shit that I do, okay? The third category, okay? So again, your belief systems, and then your behaviors, and all the ways in which you interact, right? And all the ways in which you believe, and how do these combine? And then, I know I'm a genius. Thank you, Mira. Literally, I'm like, holy fuck. It's like, but if you have these two, you have the beliefs and the behaviors, you can't fucking shift. But if you have these other two, you can't fucking shift. And if you have one of these, you can't fucking shift. I mean, you can, but like not in the way in which like you're going to turn into, well, no, that's not true. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't want to say that. So adopt you. I like actually want to adopt like older children, but apparently you can't do that, or like it's really hard to do that. So the third section, okay, is your transformational skills, your transformational abilities. This is basically like, so I've got your beliefs, I've got your behaviors, and here's the, okay, like, how strong is she about shifting? How strong is she about her ability to shift? So it's kind of like, okay, so if my beliefs and my behaviors, and I don't know how to shift, and I don't know how to step into a new identity, I don't know how to deal with change, I've never dealt with change, I don't have the type of drive or personality to change, then I've got to work with you about changing that personality. I've got to work with you. This is examples of this would be the woman who has been walked over all her fucking life, but she has this piece of her that's like, don't fuck with me, motherfucker, when I actually get what I like, when I actually get in that space of when I'm like, fuck you, don't you fucking dare come after me. If that's there, my voice just turned. If that is there, which a lot of times it is, especially if they've been walked over all their lives, I have to figure out how to tap into that, and I ask all those questions based off of that. If there's somebody who's actually been like a student, or she was really rebellious, or if she has like, she married really wealthy, or she stayed excuse me, single her whole life, she's still a virgin, or certain types of things. It's like, she has this ability to, and when I say hadn't lost her virginity, there's some fucking willpower. There's some like part of her that wants to be different in a way that she doesn't give a fuck about what she's supposed to do, which is indicative of somebody who doesn't give a fuck about society and can actually make things happen in a completely different way than 99.9% of the universe. And when they got that fucking quality, I can help them see about quietly, subtly saying, hey, you see that quality there? You can change this shit, and we can change it to where not only can we actually align you for a different type of behavior and a different type of belief, but we can execute it so that you actually manifest a whole other fucking reality in a whole other fucking big way, which blows your mind about the type of results that we have. You have, you know what I'm saying. So that's why people go from like $50,000 to $250,000 a month. That's why people go from 0 to $1 million in sales in 10 months working with me. That's why people go from 0 to 20K months in less than 4 fucking months working with me. That's why people go from 500 a month to their first 5-figure month within 3 weeks of working with me. That's why people have 50K month contracts signed within a week of working with me. That's why this shit is, okay? So they're transformational. This is the third column. What's holding them back, really? It's the same type of thing, but it's on a different fucking level, okay? So this is where it's like, I'll ask this question, I'll ask this question, I'll ask this question. And a lot of you guys, you'll think that I'm asking you the same fucking question. You'll be like, like, I already answered this, Molly, or this bitch doesn't, like, what did I pay this bitch for? And I'm like, no, listen, like, why do you think this? And I'll ask you like more than 3 times, well, what do you think about that? Well, what do you think about that? And I'll have girls like do their homework assignments, and they'll write all that shit down, and I'll ask, well, what do you think about that? This is where I'm tapping into, and just so you know, like, don't actually think that you know exactly what I'm fucking doing, especially if you come to work with me in this next boot camp, because you don't necessarily know what angle I'm asking you from, but understanding that I'm asking your subconscious and I'm figuring out the strategy of what you need to do in order to get what you want. This is what I'm doing, okay? But I'm probably doing it at a different angle, so you don't actually have, like, you not actually clear. Been working with you since October, and I just had my first $20,000 month. Bingo! Like, I want a testimonial. And congratulations. That was like, fucking congratulations. I knew you could do it, and I knew that you could do it. Like, I knew that you could do it, and I actually remember the exact question that I asked, and I was like, this bitch can get results. And it doesn't mean that other people can't get results. It's indicative of this third column as far as like, what do we need to do to get you to shit? Okay. What is the vision of them getting what they want? Okay. This is another thing where it's like, what is your vision? There's difference in between what is your identity and what is your vision. Because if your vision is super clear and you have like super laser sharp clarity on what your vision is, it's a completely different thing than what is your identity. If you've got the identity and the vision, it's just a minor little thing of shifting. If you've got the vision but not the identity, it's something we got to tackle from what are your beliefs and your behaviors. If it's a vision thing, we need to find out, okay, she's got this really powerful place of the vision thing. What do we need to do to make sure that she can actually execute this situation? What are they connected? Are they really connected? Results? If not, what needs to happen? It's the same type of thing. Like, you know, what are there really? Are you really connected? Are you really connected to what types of beliefs and behaviors you need to shift? Are you really connected to actually shifting? There's different levels, and I ask this all throughout. There are certain questions that I ask through each pillar to find out, how are you about your beliefs on really connecting and shifting? How are your behaviors about really actually shifting? And your actual abilities to actually change and shift, what are your actual behaviors around that? So it's like, I want to tackle that from every single angle because I want you to be able to shift. And we need to like bring every single bit of this work into getting you into a place where you're actually in the mindset of, oh fuck, this is actually one of those fucking courses where I shift in a way that's holy fuck, oh my fucking God, this bitch is like, whoa. That's where we want to get you to. How far are they getting? Okay, yeah. How do you interpret your blocks? This is fun. This one's fucking fun. How do I interpret how do I interpret my blocks? Okay. This one's really fun. This one's so much fun. So like it's funny because I'll have clients who like know spot the fuck on, well, it's this and it's this and this and this and it's this. And they'll think that it's actually made up of this. And they'll think that they actually need to do this. Or they think that this one was funny. An example of this was, there's a chick, and this is one of the funniest things that like people think they don't need to continue to work with, you know, a mindset coach, or they don't think that they should continue into my mastermind or something like this. And this is a perfect fucking example. This chick went through my boot camp and she decided to, like, thank God she did. She, and I'm not saying she'd stay stuck by any means whatsoever, but literally I saved her from probably another year or two of actually wandering around in circles. Even after this, okay, she got significant results, and then she was in a place of like, I checked in with her. I was like, what's going on in the Facebook group? And she was like, well, I've been doing work on this. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And she was like, because of this. I'm like, no. Go this way. Because she had already taken out all these other levels, and she basically just needed to go this way because it was going to turn her into a whole new level. She was at not able to break a 5-figure month, and literally within a week after that, she broke a $20,000 month. So be aware that just because you know the tools and shit like that, remember, you're not wired to be able to understand shit. So even if you know the tools, it can help you, but there are certain things that are gonna be like, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. And even if you do know the tools, you're still gonna be like, that's why a lot of people would be like, I know I'm in victim mode. I know I'm in victim mode. I know I'm in victim mode. I know I'm in victim mode, but I'm not shifting. I know I'm in victim mode, but I'm not shifting. I know I'm in victim mode, and I know that I'm not shifting, but I'm not shifting. It's just the way that you're fucking wired. That's why the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. That's why celebrities have fucking mindset coaches. That's why Gary Vee has suddenly started talking about mindset instead of self-awareness. Okay, I love Gary Vee though. Are they really connected? And how far are they from getting that? Okay, so if they're really connected to their ability to get a result, how far are they away from getting it on a really fucking deep level? So in other words, they're actually in the space of like, oh my God, this bitch can really help me get results. Or are they in a place of like, yeah, I mean, but if they're already in that place of, oh my God, this woman can help me get results, how connected are they to, I'm right on the verge of fucking shifting. I'm right on the verge of having a $250,000 business. I'm right on the verge of finding my fucking soulmate. I'm right on the verge of actually losing 15 pounds and I don't even fucking realizing it. How far are they away from that moment when they actually really get it and they're actually able to boom and they get the results? And I literally can, it's like right there. It's really fucking interesting. How do they interpret their blocks? How do they respond to changing? It's kind of the same thing, but it's like, if I tell you, well, there was this chick who, like, you know, I see brands a lot, and it sounds weird, but like I'll see, like, they'll tell me what they want to do and where they want to go and what they want to teach and shit like that, and I'll be like, oh, think of this brand. Oh, it's this. It's this brand. Oh, you could do this. Or, oh, you're like, that's a tech company in the making. That's this. How did, like, I had to look at it because I was like, how do they respond to that? How do they respond to that? Because most likely I'm saying that to them because I can see and hear and smell basically this part of them that can change, that can shift really fast and can be really, really big if they want to. How do they respond to that? Because that's really indicative of if I need to work from them from this angle, or if they actually want this, but they say that they want it, but actually what they don't want, there's this other level of I don't want, but their beliefs don't think that they're good enough, don't think that they can do it, and their behaviors have been like, yeah, I actually believe that I can, but my behaviors have been like, not indicative of that. Like I was lazy in high school, I wasn't, you know, I didn't do this, I'm only making $50K a month, what the fuck is wrong with you, why are you telling me this, why are you making me think like this, etc., etc. Gave you a great idea. Thanks, Melissa, you took that. Is anybody else sick of getting Facebook messages from like the whole like, you know, reaching out to you via Facebook message? It annoys the shit out of me when you sign up for people's lists and shit. Really annoys me. What can you do to change this dynamic? Same thing. What can I do to change the dynamic? How do you respond to certain mindset tools? How resistant are you to getting to those mindset tools? How resistant are you to actually doing the work? And if you're resistant to actually doing the work, then what do I need to do to get you in a place where that's actually going to take effect? Because here's the thing. This is the beautiful part about it. Beautiful fucking part about it. If I know all these fucking things about you, it doesn't matter how much fucking time you have to do this work. It's what you actually like, if you're in this ability to do so. And if you only have 5 minutes to do it every week, I'm like, okay, this is what she needs to do in order to get this. And if she has 5 minutes of her time and she actually does it, and she does it correctly, she's going to have this like wake up call into, oh my God, I can actually change this. Because the more busy you are and the more you're not focusing on shit, sometimes the faster you'd shift. And how fast are you to actually doing what it is that you need to do? How fast are you responding of like, oh, Molly said go get a massage. Okay, why is she telling me to go get a massage? I'm going to go get a massage, and the reality of how you respond to that, the results that you get, because the results are very indicative of how you actually are shifting. And then it leads into what are the results of that shift and how effective and long lasting is that shift? How strong are they at shifting into the new identity? It's not really the same thing, but it is kind of the same thing. How fast are you at shifting to that new identity? How fast are you at shifting into that new identity? So how rapid, how fast, that's the emphasis of what's going on. Are you in a space where you actually want to get super fast fucking results? And how do you feel about super fast fucking results? And how can we get you in a place where we wire you to get super fast fucking results? Because here's the thing. You may get your first 20K month, but how can we wire you to not only can you get your first 20K month, but how can you rapidly succeed and go up to $1 million a year business? That's literally like, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people who come to work with me, they'll get results, but then 6 months later, they'll be getting like astronomical results. That's one of the things that I do. How soon are they going to get to the next level of change? That's the same. How much doubt do they have about the law of attraction and change? How much doubt do you have? So it feeds into your relationship with God, because all this shit, if you believe this way about God and universe, or however, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and you behave this way about your relationship to God, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and your ability to transform and allow God to take over is very indicative of how fast you're going to shift. What is your relationship to God? What is your belief about God? What is your allowing of God to transform you, and how fast is it? So, with that in mind, I'm still working on this process on how to like fine tune it. But this type of thing is some high level shit. This shit has produced multimillionaires. This shit has helped like change marriages. This shit has done a whole lot of fucking shit. This shit has produced $17 million in additional revenue for a collective like group of 100 women in less than 2 years. This is the kind of shit that makes like crazy shit happen. When executed, this shit is wildly sexy and holy fuck awesome. And this shit was not me. This was downloaded into me, and like, I don't know how the fuck it was downloaded into me, but it was just downloaded. So I gotta figure out how to like think the way that I do and teach people how to think the way that I do, because I have a feeling I'm going to be having associate coaches teaching this shit. But at least I know this is the beginning of being able to teach people how to coach like this. Thank you, Jean, for saying that. That's really, really sweet. Jean's someone who fucking gets it fast. She fits into a lot of these categories, and like, it's good shit. And also part of like, and me being able to see all this stuff, this is one of the reasons why people say I'm so psychic. Me being able to see all these fucking answers is, you can't not be psychic in this shit. You can, like, it's so easy to predict what's going to happen in your life. It's so fucking easy to predict what's going to happen. Period, the fucking end. All right. So, and one of the tools that you use to shift, honestly, it depends on your makeup and your belief systems and your behaviors and how much you believe that you can shift. Because the truth of the matter is, I'll get kids, girls, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves, women, business women. That'd be so much fun. That would be a lot of fun. I've got to figure out how the fuck I would teach this. I really do. But I would love if you would do that. Savina's taking pictures. I've got to do something for her birthday. I think I'm going to go get her drunk. she doesn't like to get drunk, so I'm kind of like, maybe I should do something else. Spa day or something. Fuck, what was I gonna say? What was I saying? I can't fucking remember. I just got so jazzed up about the idea of Hero being a associate coach. What was I saying? But this is the methodology. I'm like, I can't remember. This is the methodology in terms of when you come to work with me one-on-one. And this is the methodology that I use in my live boot camps. This is the methodology that I'll use if I get on the phone with you. This is the methodology that I use when I'm when I'm on a sales call with someone. This is the kind of methodology that I use, like, even when I'm, getting questions and stuff like that. I don't go through this whole fucking process, but I can take somebody through this process in less than 5 minutes. Literally. Because I just ask the questions. Like, it's kind of like in a 5-minute conversation, I can get exactly what they need to do in order to shift. If it's an hour or a 20-minute session, I get exactly what they need to do to shift and their identity that needs to shift and how fast they're going to shift. If it's like a 30 minutes to an hour, it's like, oh, okay, I can basically get your entire lifespan and figure out what it is that you need to do to project the next 5 to 10 years of, not even 5 to 10 years, like 20 years that could literally like be the most magical life you've ever dreamed of. So now, can I promise you that? No, because depending on how you actually think. And I can give you exactly what it is that you need to do, exactly what you need to do to change your beliefs, exactly what types of things you need to do. And I just remember what the fuck I was thinking about. And you may do nothing with it. There's some of you who've worked with me and I've given you the fucking gold and you haven't taken it. And that's okay. But if you're like sitting around with a thumb up your ass wondering why the fuck you haven't changed, well, you might want to go back and think about what the fuck I said to you. Shit, I just lost my train of thought again. Oh, the mindset tools. I'll have chicks who will be like, EFT doesn't work for me. EFT doesn't work for me, or journaling doesn't work for me, or meditating doesn't work for me. It's very indicative depending on what mindset tool it is and what type of mindset tool you actually need. It's very indicative of how fast you are to shift. And you may answer it, and this is fucking funny, and this is fucked up at the same time. I could have in front of me a bitch who could literally create a 7-figure business like overnight. Great belief systems, great family dynamics, great experiences, great behaviors, the discipline, the drive, everything, and the ability to change and shift and morph like a motherfucker. But then she's like, those tools aren't going to work for me. This doesn't work for me. EFT doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. Well, I need to do it about this way. And I need to do it about this way. And so it's kind of like, okay. So there's this, like, you have this ability to transform, but there's this part of you that doesn't want to fucking transform. So you got this, like, perfect thing, but here it is over here where you don't want to actually shift. So there's probably other legs to this whole methodology that I haven't quite tapped into yet. But this is like, think of what do I want? And here are the fucking legs. And if you take out one, you can't take out the rest of them. What? Okay. I have to go. I have 5% left on my phone. If you want to get into working with me, my virtual boot camp, 6 steps to getting anything that you want. And we're actually going to give you the fucking lessons, and you're going to get this fucking methodology at the same time, and you're going to actually work through it with me, and I can guarantee you on seriously deep levels. People ask me all the fucking time, how do you actually give away so much fucking value and have people like make the kind of money that you do? It's because of this. Because I know in the back of my head, there's no fucking way in hell you're going to get through all this shit on your own. No way in fucking hell are you going to actually be able to get the kind of results that I know how you can get with me by watching this shit. Even this shit. No fucking way in hell. Mean it with massive love, but it's not going to fucking happen. Because this shit is too fucking complex. Alright, I gotta go. Lots of love. Ask yourself these questions, and maybe you'll start to find some answers in ways that will, like, help you succeed. And by the way, if you haven't joined my email list, go to mollysap.com/manifest-fast. There literally was a chick who reached out to me and was like, I need to manifest 10K fast. And I was like, I said like a couple of sentences to her, and I sent her that thing, and she's manifested some money And another chick said that she just manifested money by watching that. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep that up. Okay? I'm not saying that I'm taking it down, but I'm creating new funnels right now as we speak. I don't know how long I'm going to keep that up. And I don't know if it's going to be farther down into my funnels or if I'm going to put it up as a, you know, like charge like 20 to $100 for it. I don't know if I'm just going to put it in another course, but if you don't have it now, you need to get on my email list because I'm going to be putting more shit in there and there's stuff sent to there that I don't send here. Okay. Lots of love. Gotta go. And I'd really like to continue to communicate with you via email because it makes me feel like Audrey Hepburn for some weird ass reason. So I gotta go. Savina thinks I'm funny. Okay, say happy birthday to Savina. I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye. Oh wait, again, virtual boot camp, 6 weeks to manifesting anything you want. Starts March 26th. It is March, and I will talk to you guys later. And if you're wondering when am I leaving Hawaii, I have no fucking idea. I kind of love it here. Okay, bye.